Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen and thanks that you came to my channel. So today we have really interesting food preparation because my husband, he bought a motorcycle and he's like truly biker. He decided to celebrate it with guys, with his friends, and I want to prepare some men's dinner for them. Okay, are you ready to start? Let's go! So today I'm going to be making a lunch for my husband's party and we'll start with pulled beef sandwiches. First up, we'll get that beef ready. Roast this meat on the sides. Look at this. Now we need to prepare vegetables. So what we have here, we have bell pepper. You can cut it as you wish, but not very small. Rather big pieces. I think like this will be okay. Onion. I think this kind of pieces is perfect. And carrot. Wow. The vegetables are ready. I need to turn it over. Okay, now we need a form for stewing, like this big. So you have to put all the vegetables inside. Let's put meat here. It will be base for sandwiches for men. It will be food prep for the future and for this party because they don't need such a lot of beef. I need to add salt, of course. I will add smoked paprika, roasted onion, pepper, and of course garlic. And now we need to add water. Now we can close it with the cover. All right, so about 5 hours have passed and I've been roasting that meat in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. I did take it out and flip it once so the top wouldn't dry out, and it all stayed in that broth. Now, when you take the beef out, be careful not to open the lid right away so you don't burn yourself with the steam. It's really important because I once got a burn that way and it was definitely unpleasant. After the meat is cooled, you have to shred it and then return it to the broth. While the meat is soaking in that broth, we'll prepare some caramelized red onion to go on the top of those sandwiches. We use red onion because it's sweeter. You'll want to slice it into wedges, saute it in oil, add your favorite spices, and definitely include some sugar once the onion tender. I like to use brown sugar because of the flavor, and you'll want to wait until it's caramelized. Now, let's move on to the making sandwiches. Grab a baguette, a loaf, or even hot dog buns. Slice them halfway but not all the way through. Open them up, fill them with pulled beef, and top it with caramelized onion. And there you have it, the main meat dish is ready. All right, So now, aside from the meat, we'll also prepare some veggies. I'm going to make a cabbage salad that my husband really loves. It's made with red cabbage. Since there will be a big group of guys, I'll need a lot of cabbage. And I'll also be making some for home. So, I'll use an entire head of cabbage right away. I don't want to do this by hand, so I'll shred the cabbage in the food processor to make it faster and easier. It's great to have that handy little helper. I'll shred the entire head of cabbage into thin strips, and that'll give me a huge amount. I'll definitely add salt, pepper, mustard. I like to use sweet mustard from IKEA. And then the main rest will be Greek yogurt mixed half and a half with mayonnaise. You can just use mayonnaise if you prefer, but I think it's too rich and I like the lighter taste of Greek yogurt. Now, just mix everything together and basically, the cabbage salad is ready. It pairs perfectly with meat and also makes a great snack on its own. Alright, let's keep going with the next part of the video. Now we're going to make some homemade nachos. I have a few tortilla sheets and I'll cut them into segments like a pizza. Each tortilla will give me 8 nacho pieces. I'll cut them up and lay them out in the baking dish. Once all the tortillas are sliced, we'll spread them out in the single layer so they're not sticking together. Then we'll sprinkle on some salt and your favorite spices. I use paprika, Italian herbs, and I even had a Greek pasta seasoning blend that worked well. And of course, you need to drizzle with some vegetable oil on top so that the spices stick and the nachos get nice and crispy and golden. Without oil, it just won't work. Even if you think it's healthier, trust me. Then we'll give everything a good toss and pop it into the oven to bake. For the salsa, but actually it's not a salsa, I use some of my homemade pantry staples. I had some chicken pâté that I prepared in a previous video, so I took out 2 packs of the pâté, added some soft cheese, and also threw in some sweet mustard. I mixed it all well, and that made a fantastic dip for the nachos. So you can scoop the pâté with the nachos, and it's perfect snack for the guys. They absolutely loved it, and my husband said everyone was thrilled. Now, I'd like to make the next snack, garlic croutons using dark bread. Of course, you can use any bread you like, white, whole grain, whatever you prefer. But I find that dry bread gives special flavor. So, first we'll cut off the crust and then slice the bread into strips that we will toast. In a skillet, we'll pour in some vegetable oil and lay out the croutons evenly in the pan. We'll fry them until they're golden brown, and then we'll flip them to get an even color. Now, how do we make the garlic flavor? And not just garlic, but also cheesy garlic croutons. We'll prepare a special mixture. While the croutons cool down, we'll mix together some room temperature butter, grated Parmesan cheese, and few cloves of garlic. You can adjust the garlic to your taste, more or less pungent. I made mine pretty bold and spicy. So, you'll blend the butter, Parmesan, and garlic, and then add a bit of cream, but not too much, so the bread doesn't get soggy. Once the croutons are cooled, we'll coat them thoroughly in this buttery, cheesy, garlicky mixture, making sure each piece is well coated. Then, We'll spread them out in a baking dish in a single layer so they're not overlapping, and we'll bake them. This way, the garlic flavor will mellow and the cheese will melt while the bread crisps up nicely. After we coated them, we'll bake the croutons, and before serving, you can warm them up again in the oven to make even more delicious. That's exactly what we did, because when the croutons first came out, they were a bit moist from the steam. So we popped them back into the oven to crisp them up, and it turned out perfect. And finally, the last appetizer we are making is puff pastry baskets filled with smoked turkey and sweet pepper filling. So, we take the puff pastry and place it into a baking molds. This can be muffin tins, or in my case, I use silicone molds with pastry sheets inside. We shape them into little baskets and then bake them in the oven until they're ready. And then we will fill these baskets. Now, let's prepare the filling. We take a sweet pepper and dice it into small cubes. The thinner, the better. One large pepper is usually enough for about 8 baskets. So I dice it up nicely. The next ingredient is a pickled cucumber, which we also dice into tiny cubes and add to the mixture. Next, I took some smoked turkey and also diced it into small cubes and added it into the mixture. Of course, you could leave out the turkey and add whatever you like, but I had turkey on hand and though it would fit nicely. Now we'll mix all ingredients together, add some kind of soft cheese like Philadelphia cheese, and also some mayonnaise, or you can use Greek yogurt if you prefer. We'll thoroughly combine the veggies in turkey and then we can fill out the baskets. So we'll fill these pastry baskets with mixture. Of course, you could also use pre-made tartlet shells if you prefer, but I went with puff pastry because that's what I had and I felt like making them from scratch. And that's our creation. This is the whole meal. I didn't make full portions of everything since space on the table was limited, so we have the chicken pâté, the nachos I made, some crackers to go with pâté, and also some garlic cheese croutons, the cabbage salad, and the puff pastry baskets with sweet pepper turkey and pickles. And of course, the main dish, the pulled beef sandwiches with caramelized onions. I only put 2 sandwiches out, even though there were 10 in total. I packed everything up, and my husband took it all to the guys, and they enjoyed some beer and football and have a fantastic guys' night. Thank you so much for watching. I hope these ideas were helpful. Let me know what you'd like to see the next on my channel, and I'll definitely listen to your suggestions and make more videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and I'll be happy to see you on my channel. Goodbye for now!